So now we just that one.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, take a look to the right. The beautiful houses. These are houses dated to the 16th century. And when I was talking about in Prague about communist architecture, just upcoming Cornish building, 16th century, to your left, to your right, and look close to that is just apartment from 1960. So they really, the communists, they didn't have a taste for architecture. And upcoming to your left hand side is the really common sense, the picture of the soldier. That's the Czechoslovakian partisan. After Second World War, the communists brought this statues, this sculpture around the Czechoslovakia to commemorate that we actually managed during Second World War, and thanks to the soldier to liberate it, the Czechoslovakia. In Czech Republic, as you saw it here, they still kept all Slovakia statue like that. So cool, guys. We have less than 2 hours to reach our next stop. That will be the lunch break before Prague. But let me tell you a little bit about the communists. We know the history when the Czechoslovakia was founded after First World War, 1918. We did very good economic-wise until occupation in 1938 by Nazi. Then we get liberated 1945 when the Second World War ended, and we choose the communist as our government after Second World War. To think that we need to thank the Soviet Union for liberation us, and we would like to follow them, they thought. But I think that was a little mistake, because then we couldn't rid of it, the communists, for more than 40 years. So can you imagine 14 years, no elections, there was the same president until he died, then we elected another one during communism. So the people just stepped back and a new one was elected from the government, not from the people. And the total start of terror, we can talk about year 1948, when the last member of Democratic Party was killed or committed suicide, nobody knows, but he was pushed out from the window in one of the castles of Prague. So, communist regime, as I give you some idea, the problem was the secret police. As a secret police was around us all the time. And that was the big enemy and scary things when it comes to people, because you couldn't talk in the street, on the street with the people about the politics. There wasn't allowed time. Actually, the people were scared, because as soon you said something about the politicians, government, president, in 10 minutes time somebody was knocking on your door and take you to prison and investigate you as a prisoner, as a political prisoner. So as I mentioned, sometimes we had like car stopping in black car stopping in middle of the night, and we were hoping that they are not they will not knock it on our door. So this was the major things that we didn't like. If you became like part of the political prisoner, you know, they were very cruel to you. But the people didn't see that, you know, they were very discreet about it. They had the places where they tortured people to find out like why you are acting like that and why you are against the government, because they were really straightforward. They didn't have any sense of that people can think a different way. Bad things about the communism was the first number one, I think from my perspective, was that we couldn't travel. We couldn't travel to other countries, especially we couldn't travel to the west part of Europe and west countries. When it comes to one day traveling, we could travel only to the east for one day. And from Czechoslovakia, we usually travel to Poland for one day, or Hungary, because that's our neighboring country, which they're located east from Czechoslovakia. And that was the reason why we went there, is just for the shopping. You know, we like to shop in other countries, because as soon you went to the other country for shopping, you had different clothing, and actually you've been modern, you know, because the communists, they didn't have a taste for architecture. Architecture, we already know that, but also for fashion. They didn't pay so many products because you know, they confiscated lots of, actually they confiscated everything from the people who owned something. For example, and that happened in 1950s till 1955, the communists confiscated all private properties from the people because they wanted to control everything. They wanted everybody has the same style, same standard, and they didn't like if somebody has more money or better house than the others. So, give you some example. Myself, I own the bakery, for example. Yeah, after First World War, I start to do the business, the baking the bread. I survived the Second World War as my own business, and then when the communists came in 1950, and they said, okay, Mr. Karol, now your bakery will belong to state. You can still work in your own business, but we'll take a profit and we pay you as the salary. And they did it with all factories or land, everything what people has of their own property, you know, they own small businesses. They took everything from them because they said, we will take a profit from that, not you, but you can stay and we will get paid your salary. The thing was that you had three choices. First choice was that you said yes, and you actually work for the government in your own factory, or you can say no, they took you to prison. Or the third choice was because you had your own business, so you have probably more money to run out from the country. And this happened also with aristocratic families after Second World War. If they survived and they had like big apartments, big palaces in Czechoslovakia, the government took this away from them and they sent them to the outskirts of the big cities. Of course, we can say that those people had lots of money, so they run out. Most people, they run out from the country. They had lots of money. They tried to escape to Germany, to Hamburg, because there was once a month there was a ship from Hamburg sailed to United States. So so lots of people that time, during 50s, 60s, they ran out from Czechoslovakia in that way. So when it comes to fashion, we had maybe two factories who producing clothes. So during the summer, I remember my parents was working. There was lots of benefits from them. So the government arranged like 3 weeks in summer holiday for the kids, that the parents can go to the work and had a different vacation with us during the summertime, different months. I mean, and I remember there was like 30 boys staying in one room. That means we had 30 beds in that room, and 29 boys had the same pajama, because there was another choice. Maybe one boy had a pajama who mother knew how to sew it, so she bought the fabric and she made the clothes for the family. So this is something which to give you some idea that really there wasn't so much to buy. Different type of the clothing. For example, the winter shoes. We had, like ladies, they have only 3 colors: white, beige, and black. That was the winter shoes what you could buy. For the gentlemen, there was only black and blue. Family usually went to Hungary. And that wasn't easy, ladies and gentlemen, because the communists, they didn't really like that people travel. So for one day for shopping, sometimes you have to wait 3 hours in the line to cross the border. And there was another 2 hours from my home to come to the border. And big process. We have to wake up 2 o'clock in the morning, leave the house at 2 o'clock in the morning, that be at 9 o'clock when they open the shops in Budapest to buy the clothes. So 3 hours waiting lines was very, very, very low. They allowed the people have their own businesses. So there was lots of shoemaker, lots of now those days the branded clothing fabrics. 35 years in orphanage, and during communism the orphanages was belonging to Red Cross. So even you were working for the government, but even like you were somebody because you work for the Red Cross. Simple as that. And if you are smart than anybody else, you could go with it. But not always there was the price for it. But like long story a little bit short, we went to shop with my mom and father to Budapest. And not only that you had to cross the passport control, you had to also go through the custom controls. That's why it was really difficult, because there was a lot of questions. Why you travel to Budapest? What the purpose of the visit? And if you said we're going for shopping, they said how much money you have, because that time you could have only $20 per person, no more. So it was $60 that we had to show them that this is the maximum money what we have. If you had more, they sent you back and they give you red stamp in the passport, which that also people were afraid. If you get the red stamp during communism in your passport, there is stop traveling to another country for till end of the life. So you couldn't travel. So the people either didn't have a taste to travel, or they followed the rules. But my mom, she was a crazy woman, in a good way, I must say. So what she did, she had another $300 saved, and she put to the car. So she unscrewed the battery, she she put the money where the battery is placing in the car. She put back the battery, put in olive oil so that nobody gonna see that somebody touched that, because sometimes they can you know go through your car, like put the tiles off and try to find out something which they didn't even know what they're looking for, the same as I mentioned yesterday. And well, she was praying that they won't find it. So we passed the border, we passed the passport control, custom control, show us the money. You know, some people, when there was like bus tour to Budapest, they put the money when you have the paper napkins, you know, like this little pack. So they were so carefully to fold it, everything, the money folded to the napkins, and they seal it with a hair curling, you know, that is closed, so they wouldn't even think that you're smuggling the money, right? So we came to Budapest, we shopped, new shoes, trousers, t-shirt, everything. But then of course on the way back you have to show what you bought, and then you had only $60, right? So anyway, anything what was above the $60, my mom, she was putting the stuff everywhere, under the seats, in the ceiling of the car, the back side of the car. She was taking this all, put it back. I remember on the parking lot they had such a big fight with my father, and I didn't really know what it's about. It's just like really big fight. And then when everything was done, my mom was sitting with me at the back seat, and that was really strange because she never sit with me at the back. So we came to custom control of Budapest. Was I mean, the border, when you left the country, they didn't care. They just, okay, you maybe support our economy, you go. But the Czechoslovakian was really pain in the neck. So first there was custom control and then passport control. So custom control, the officer came to our car and he said like, hi, how are you? They don't even ask that. Maybe they just like what you bought, what was the purpose of the visit, and what you bringing to the Czechoslovakia. So my father, he was showing like, this is what we bought. We had the $60 and we bought mostly food. And suddenly my mom, she twisted my skin under the arm, very painful. So I start to cry, you know. I was like, I don't know, suddenly, you know. And the custom control, he was still investigating, like, okay, show me the boot, what you have there. And she twisted again, and I was really in the pain and screaming, you know, like kids. I was 8 that time, you know, 8 years old. And then the officer, he get a little bit nervous, like why is the noise, why the kid is crying, and suddenly he said, okay boy, okay gentlemen, go. So they didn't check the car anymore, you know. We just showing the things. Then we come to the passport control. There was everything okay. So they said, okay, we actually passed the border. And then later on, the first gas station, there wasn't a gas station like we stopping now, you know, but they still had the ice cream. So my mom bought me ice cream, and you know, I remember, I can hear her in my ears now, that she said, you know, Kayo, if you don't cry, you wouldn't have your new t-shirt, new boots, because they were taking out everything from us. And that was the first and last time that I travel with my parents abroad to go shopping. And this is the thing that maybe, I mean, my mom, she know exactly what she's doing. She had the plan in her head, you know, for a very long time. She didn't even say the father, you know, like what she gonna do. But you know, as she was working for the Red Cross, there are always like these people, little, oh, this is somebody, you know, they're working for the Red Cross. So there was always, you know, like this corruption or something, like bureaucracy, that was always there. But I'm telling you, if they would find more stuff, if they would find more money, anything, all our family, we will get the stamp, the red stamp. And can you imagine, I was 8 and I can't travel anymore, like to do a different country. I have to stay in Czechoslovakia entire life. So that's something what was very bad from the communists when it comes to traveling, you know. I think my mom, she wouldn't go to prison because she worked for the government. She will get fired from the work, of course, red passport, and she has to look for the new job. It didn't happen this, but, you know, she was a little bit smarter than them. And really sometimes if you're smart than the communist, you could, you know, you can do the place and go to places. But also the other things, that if you would like to go to the west part of Europe for work or visit your family or other purpose of the visit to west part of country, Austria, Germany, then you can apply for visa. That was like big process, maybe like 2-3 months. When some of the movies which was made in 1970, we saw it first time in 1990, so after Velvet Revolution, because when they said this movie is not really presentable to the people because there was about the kill the king, it was fairy tale. Now is the famous fairy tale all times, because we love the movies, love the actors, and this is just stupid fairy tale. Have to, you know, to get to the king and blow the bomb because he had completely different thing after people. Not important, but the important things that when they said this movie can't be presented to the television. For example, when it comes to religion, they were really against religion because the religion was saying to people completely different as the communists wanted to show the people. So communists, they were against the Vatican, you know. Lots of priests, lots of you know, the nurses who are serving to God, priests, monks, they were sent to the work camps unless you join the Communist Party. If you don't join Communist Party, you go to that working camp. So really hard for the religion. So all the priests who want to be like okay with the government, they had to accept the communist and be part of the Communist Party. So the same, you know, the churches that wasn't support the churches. It's ruined only after Velvet Revolution. The government give to all the places to make sure that all the churches are in good shape and not get the ruins. You know, that's again something which I didn't like during the communist time. But let's say something good about the communists. They had a completely different way of thinking when it comes to the working hours and you know, when it comes to work, everyone has to work. So even the gypsies, the majority which we have now in Czech or Slovakia, who taking the benefits from the country, they have to work. If you don't work, you go to prison. If you have a child, you are not married, and you decide to not to pay it to your wife, the government would take you to prison, communist. Okay, and that's why they have to create the jobs, because lots of roads was made, the concrete buildings, concrete jungles. You accept, because sometimes they send you outside of your home address, different region. In Slovak, people could be sent to Czech Republic and the reverse. And then if you accept it, you go out from your home address to different area, but the government give you also apartment to live for free, kind of. You don't have to pay it for the apartment. You have to pay only $20 a month, like rent. But you didn't pay anymore for electricity, hot water, heating. Everything was included. That was your cost of living, $20 a month. And does not matter if you have 2-bedroom apartment, 3-bedroom apartment. If you are four people, if you not accept the offer from government, you had to look for job on your own, which means that you were responsible, and after you finish your school you have a job. From my home is the same, but we didn't have money to buy anything, because for example, if you want to buy the car, you have to wait 1 year for the car, for example. So if you work for the big factory, they also provide you the summer and winter vacation in their own resorts. Okay, so there wasn't any willing to travel anywhere else outside of Czechoslovakia, because first it wasn't possible. So the people travel within Czechoslovakia. If your company give you 2 weeks winter and summer holiday, you pay nothing. They give you accommodation. They give you food 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch and dinner. So you pay just for your pleasure. You go to the bar, you pay coffee, or for kids, you buy the tickets for cinema and etc. But that was kind of benefit from the company to give it to you twice a year for entire family, for entire people who work. Of course, not the same date. You had to apply for the date, but there was the possibility to use this winter and summer holiday for your family. So again, the architecture of the communists. The first color television, ladies and gentlemen, came to Czechoslovakia in 1983. We have just black and white. And again, my mom, she was working for the orphanage, and we had a central store. Seasonal food, for example, tangerine, only in Christmas. Bananas, twice, 3 times a year you could get, and everything that money, and not to give their own people, but the marketing to the West. So we had still wear the same things till the Velvet Revolution, for example. So what's happened? The people they were not happy about the communists. So in 1968 they started first people to protest about the communists, that at least we should have our opinion. We should know, like we can tell you that it's a better way to do the things, but it didn't work out. They brought the heavy technique from Russia to the main squares, and they split the people from there. So the communist regime, they didn't get the support from Soviet Union, because they had the perestroika that time in their country. So it was very hard to support the other country if they have their own problems. And that was the time when the communists stepped back, and they said, okay, this is our end, because we can't handle this situation. And then as soon they stepped back, the Democrat was elected. And since December 1898 we had a democratic government. Then in year 2000, so 10 years after the institution in 1990. When it comes to come back to the communist, I mentioned that everybody get a nice job, you know, and the jobs was created for the people. So that retirement was completely different as is now. So that means ladies or the women, they retired in age of 50, and the gentlemen 55. But ladies, they had a little bit different. If for what, let's say like this, one kid, 1.5 year less. So if you have two kids, you could retire in 47. Okay, and take a pension. The pension was about $300 that time during communism. So lots of people, they still worked after the retirement age. So and then when you work after your retirement age, you work on your retirement. So you can have more money when you decide to retire. So as you see, lots of people retired and lots of people get their jobs. So this was really okay, I would say. Now those days, ladies and gentlemen, because we have to follow the European Union law and Brussels government, European government, ladies retired to 63, and there is only few months per kid, like 2-3 months, I think, for one kid, and gentlemen 65. And they said that this is the top what they can do. You know, so they're not going to put any more higher as 65, 63 and 65, which now they have problem in France, you know. The Macron, I don't know if you heard, but probably yes, because there is a like, big protest. The people demolish, you know, this city of the property price, because the Macron, he had to do it. France is European Union, so they need to go 63, 65. They had like 55 years old, the people retired, but now they have to, he has to do it because, you know. So, but the government said, no, this is the last things, this is the top what we will do. Also in Czechoslovakia, it's Slovakia or Czech Republic, we had to deal with it, and yeah, now it's 63 and 65. Communist left, still retirements didn't move from the money. So lots of people, like the seniors, they are really living in poor condition. They have to work to make extra money, or they just had to live with it, and now they have to pay for accommodations, because also when we talking about the restitution in 1990s, let's say, also my Czech Republic, they have still Communist Party in the parliament. Only 8%, so it's like a few seats, but you can see that still the people are behind the communists. In Slovakia, we don't have the Communist Party in parliament, so 0. But here in Czech Republic, it's 8%, which is quite a lot. But you see that the government, the communists, they are against the integration of any ways. So no, they are not for European Union. They are not that some people helping us. We can do ourselves. We don't need the European Parliament and so on, so on. $2,700 you pay up to 52%. Education during communism was completely free. They give you books, they give you notes for free. Everything what you can think of was for free. Only what you need to buy is the pen, pencils, that's all. And we start school age of 7, and you finish it you have a preliminary high school. The high school you are finished at age of 18, and the university usually is 20, 24 years old. So everything was paid by the states during communism. 40 years in Czechoslovakia, ladies and gentlemen, was Russian. Republic still, ladies and gentlemen, the education is free. The university is free as well. But there is something new. Last 7 years in Czech Republic, they have that you can also study private university. So how to, choose like private or state university. So let's talk about law university. The university can take 100 people, 100 students for first semester, but on the list is 150. So the 50 people, 50 students, there is the chance they are not come to the state university. So they do exam, and there is the red line. If you are below the red line, so that means you have to make a choice, because people above the red line, they are taken to the state university of law. That can be hotel school, there can be also private medical school, but just give you some idea. Law school, under red line, you have to make a choice. You going to the private university, so your parents has to pay for semester. One semester costs approximately $700. So we have 2 semesters a year, so $1,400 a semester, which is quite okay compared to you, as I know, guys, that you pay 18,000 maybe a year. Okay, that's what I heard. Different school, different, But here is like 700 euros per semester. Of course, your parents has to pay it because you don't have obviously such a big money. But later on, you work on that. You have your own job, maybe. Or the second choice is okay. I wait another year and I try to do the exam again, and I hopefully will be above the line. But this it's not really good when you talk with parents, because in 1 year lots of things can happen. Usually you lose the interest to go to the school. You find a job. You make families. So really, most of the people they choosing the private university. And then when you go to private university, ladies and gentlemen, you have the same building, same class, same teachers. Everything is the same as the regular ones, but you have to pay for it. The private university, you don't have books included, so you have to pay for the books, so you lend the books to learn. The state university, you have library, you go just there and borrow the books. But don't think that it's easy for the people who pay the education. No, because the exam is the same.
Much better than before.
Yes, absolutely. And it's not Japanese, but Russian client. And they said they were Russian. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have your paper in front of you, there is also the exchange rate. So US dollars, one US dollars is approximately, as I mentioned, 22.21. But as I prepared this paper, it's a little bit different for the €1. It's 23.55. Does not matter those cents. You can just calculate $1 to 22 and €1 to 23 Czech crown. Okay, because we don't have euro currency in Czech Republic, as they are not part of Eurozone. As the ATM machine give you the nomination of 2,000 crown for 500, and you would say, okay, yes, it's helpful if you have a small money, but please don't do that. They give you fake money, okay? And as soon you tell them no thank you, you turn and the guys disappear. So he knows that you know about him. Okay, so just because I'm very concerned about your safety, so don't share any money or something with the people on the streets. And I will pass the little information that you see how the Czech money looks like. Okay, they are really colorful, 50, 20, 100, 200, 500. Yeah, and the big nomination is 2,000 and 5,000. What you can get. So this is something that you can pass. Don't change it. Don't look the exchange. It's just the money, how they looks like. There is a Czech traditional side dish, so you can't order like dumplings as a main course, because that is the same way as you order just rice. So the dumplings are always serving with some sauce, very nice piece of meat. And my recommendation for you, ladies and gentlemen, will be the first picture of the food. That's why I put it in color, and that's called svíčková, which is the beef, is a braised beef served with creamy vegetable sauce, dumplings, the bread dumplings, because we have two types of dumplings. We have the bread dumplings and also potato dumplings. But potato dumplings we will have tomorrow for dinner. Okay, tomorrow, unfortunately for some of you, will be the farewell dinner. But the potato dumplings we will have it tomorrow. So today the bread dumplings are more than welcome with this side dish, and the creamy vegetable sauce is from the vegetable carrot, turnip, celery roots. Is cooked, then it's blended and added the cream, and that's, you have a very nice thick yellow sauce. Okay. Or the second thing, so it's a pivní goulash, which is in translating a beer goulash, but the goulash as a soup in Hungary. So it's a meat, vegetable, carrot, But this goulash, the pivní goulash, it's more than like stew. So you have like big pieces of beef and a nice thick sauce with dumplings. Excellent choice as well. We have some vegetarian people here, so the best and famous vegetarian dish is smažený sír, which is like deep fried cheese with French fries and tartar sauce. If you don't like the cheese, you can also go for the salad bar, which is a different salad around the bar, and there will be two types of bowls, big and small. So I would recommend it to take a small bowl and put lots of salad on it, but still they will charge you for the small one. But if you take the big ball and you just put a little bit of each, and you just try to maybe save some money, they will charge you for big one. Okay, don't tell them that I told you that. With bread rolls, okay, so you can taste, but depends what would you like to do and eat. So there will be also the restrooms. They are downstairs. So either you use the restroom first, you can pay with credit card or 10 and 50 cents or Czech crowns. I have some with me. Okay, but first of all, I will go for those who like to have e-meals. There is like 2 buses behind us, so we need to be the first one to get the food, and then we can do the restrooms. But of course, I will be entire time there. We will spend good hour there or something. So we are not rushing anywhere. And just for your information, maybe from the restaurant to Prague, they will take us another 1 hour and 15 minutes. So we are not really far from Prague.
Tak ty jsi ještě nedostal tady dole? Tady ještě tady. Tady.
Dolů a tady to všechno vyžilo. Říkal, ten je mazané. Jde do něho. Ale ty kozičky jsou, já to taky.
Podívej se tam na mě. Oni nejsou blbní. Ale tak jsem čuně. Jo. Nejdu domů čistá.